Hey everybody, welcome to Fortunate Creations. I'm Kim, and this is a channel where we talk about everything to do with crafting. So from amigurumi to weaving and anything in between. If you like crafting and being creative, stick around. I think you're going to like it here. So today I'm going to show you how to make this wreath. Now, whether you want to keep it for your own craft room because it just warms your heart to keep all your little balls of yarn nearby, or if you know somebody who loves their yarn as much as I do, and you want to make them a unique gift to let them know you know how much yarn means to them, here you go. It's a great idea. This is a small one. The one we're going to make today is a little bit bigger. So I am lucky enough that one of my friends loves to wind up my yarn barf into yarn balls. So I am literally surrounded right now by a bunch of yarn balls. You can see some of them here, and they're all different sizes. So I have trained myself that once I've used a skein as far as I can, or a cake as far as I can, I put the rest of it in a bag, and then I have my friend wind it for me. So sometimes it gets as little as these, and I can't bring myself to just chuck that much yarn. So sometimes when I have a giveaway on my channel, I'll go ahead and use these as packing material or little surprises for them. Whatever, I just don't like to waste yarn. So what I also do now for this wreath is I will take one little tiny dab of glue to hold the yarn together. And this, you're not going to believe how simple this is. You're simply going to take the smallest balls of yarn and line them up on this as best as you can. Just get them all lined up. What I suggest is line them up on the table, and I try to keep colors separate from each other. So before you do any gluing or anything, make sure you have enough of the size yarn balls that you need. And then you're going to just line them all up side by side all the way around, and then you're going to start gluing. So I have not lined them up yet. So what I'm going to do is move the camera now so I can show you what I'm doing down here on this. All right, so here I am. I'm just going to line them all up right here. See how good they look together. And again, I'm trying to keep like colors as separated as possible because you want it to be nice and colorful. You want it to show a nice variety of the yarns. Okay, so I'm taking off all the little clips. I'm just trying to get this all set. Let me see here. Here's a variety of colors. Nice bright yellow one. I'll put that on next. Now I'm just setting these here so you're going to see the ends and stuff. When I actually glue them on, you will not see them. Obviously, I'll make sure those are tucked right in nicely. Okay, now you're just going to keep going around like this. Okay, let me keep going here. I've got some mustard brown that I'm going to put over this way. That does look like mustard. Put that there. Stay. And again, try to be consistent with the sizes. You see I'm starting to get a little bit bigger, so I want to move over to here. And I'll put this one. I will neaten up the wrap once I need it, but that one might be a little big. I'm going to put that for the next row, but I think I have a smaller one of those in here somewhere. Well, let's go with here we go. Here's a good one. We'll go with this one. Lots of colors in this one, so we're going to go ahead and pop this one here. So I'm going to keep going all the way around, make sure I have the number of yarn balls that I need before I start gluing. So, ooh, here's a nice gray one. Put that one over here. That's it. Oh. Okay. Ooh, lime green. That one's a little big. Now, you can rewrap them if you want. If this one's a little big, go ahead, take some of the layers off of it and make it the size you need. Again, like I said, I'm not going to waste the rest of it because what I'm doing is I'm using this to as packing material for any packages that I send out. So I'm going to go ahead, add this to my packing material bag and use this over here. Perfect. Nice pop of color for that one. Let me turn it a little bit so you can see. Trying to balance here on a very small area of my desk. You can see all my little clips that I'm using. All right, what else do I have? I have a nice cream colored one here. That's a pretty color. And then I have smaller version of that other one I was going to use. Perfect for right here. Okay, ooh, just a bold red. Nice, 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 nice. And again, if it's not big enough, you can add a little bit more yarn to it to make it fit. So what I try to do is keep the smaller ones on the inside row, and then the bigger ones will go on the next row. Ooh, I'm moving it around. They're going to tumble off. So here we go. I'm going to keep going. Now again, you try to be as creative with the pattern as possible because you don't want it to look like you planned the pattern. Okay, so again, this one's a little bit big. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one a little bit smaller. I'm going to clip this off. Move that out of the way into my packing material pile, and this one's going to go right here. Okay, again, he's just sitting here for now. Let me see. Oh, another nice size one right there. This one's a nice color brown. You're going to get all different textures as well. So that one's the scrubby yarn. Then I have pure cotton over here, and then I have, you know, high end. I believe that the one I just put on there is I want to say it's bamboo. And then this one is a hand-dyed yarn that I won in a drawing. So lots of different varieties makes it a really cool, well, conversation piece, if nothing else, right? So make this one the right size. I'm going to take a little bit more off of here. There we go. And if you take enough off, you can always roll it into another small ball and use it for something else as well. I'm going to have to round that one up a little bit. And obviously different yarns are going to be different shapes when they're rolled. So you got to be mindful of that as well. Slide this a little bit more. We're going to get this one in here. Okay. I'm going to take some off of this. It's fun because as I'm doing this project, I can remember what I made with these. And also a good conversation piece. For the one that I have hanging up in my craft room, I can say, well, yeah, this is leftover yarn from this project, and this is leftover yarn from the other project. Talk a little bit about the yarn if it's someone who likes, you know, that kind of conversation. Sorry, I'm off screen a little bit because I'm trying to make this one the right size to fit. All right, so I got one more to go in here, and I believe I have the perfect one right here. Pretty color, really pretty color. Obviously not all of them are going to be the same sizes and shapes, but you can see now that I have it all the way around a full circle, and now I can start gluing. If you notice that you're kind of lopsided and some of them are too small on one side and some are too large on the other, you can move them around so that you've got different sizes and shapes all around your circle. Again, you don't want it to seem too uniform. You don't want it to look like you planned a pattern or anything like that, unless you're doing one where you want to do all of them the same color and this and that. So, okay, so I'm going to let them all fall in here. They're kind of where I want to put them, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue them. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together, okay? So, I'm going to make sure this is nice and wrapped tight. I am again known for way too much glue, so I'm going to make sure I do little teeny dabs because just a little teeny dab will hold this together. And then I want to go ahead, place it where I'm going to place it, pretty side up. There we go, right there. Perfect. And this one is going to be the first one in the row, so I'm going to glue it to the bar that goes around. Okay, now you're going to have some drippage underneath. When we're done, I'll show you what I do to the back of it to make it look a little prettier and a little neater. I'm going to go ahead and take this one next. Little teeny dab of glue. Now, what I like to do on these is glue them to each other instead of to the wire. So I'm only gluing it to the wire cage when I get to the bars that go around, where am I? This way. Okay, so you've got the horizontal bars. When you get to the vertical bars, that's when I glue it to the frame itself. I don't want too much glue showing out the back. I don't want it to look too messy. So that's why I do. That's the method to my madness on that one. Again, let's trim those. Make it nice and neat. It's a little big. I might just take this row off. Customize it just a tad bit. Okay. Obviously, I got some glue on my scissors. Okay, now if you get to the point where you have two different tails, just try to trim it down to where your tails can meet, the beginning tail and the end tail. That way you're only putting one dab of glue on there. Go ahead, come in here with the glue gun, one little drop. And even that was a bit much. So what you can do with this is make it a little bit bigger of a drop, and then you can go ahead and make that the one drop that you glue these together. Again, minimizing the number of drops of glue that you're using because you're trying to keep things, you know, glue shows. So you're trying to keep it so that you're not showing the glue, right? So over here, I guess, is where my camera is going the most. Why don't I move it? If you could see my setup, you'd be cracking up. How's that? Okay, good. So here I am again with the glue gun right here. One little dot and another little dot, and just get it right in there. Sorry about that. My daughter is texting me. I'm going to turn it down because it's not anything really super important. Okay. Now here we go. That's going to be nice. Look at the difference in the colors on this. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So again, getting the glue gun in here. Put a little bit more on this because I want the balls of yarn to actually really adhere to each other. Now you see here I am at this vertical bar one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little dab of glue right where that ball of yarn meets the crosshair, if you will. Okay, get these out of the way. And I will go ahead, let me move this over and turn it. There we go. We've got a whole other side to do now. Nice and sticking together. Okay. And putting the yarn in here in the middle just makes it easier for me to get to the yarn, so I'm not reaching over here and reaching back and forth. Kind of helps. Like I said, I think I got some glue on my scissors. Okay. So we're going to take this end and put it right there, one little dab of the glue. And then a bigger dab so that it can glue itself. Now remember, when you're gluing yarn, okay, don't move it. Once you place it down, don't move it because you will be able to see it. Now I'm noticing right here that I don't like how that looks, so I'm going to actually snip this off. and I'm going to tuck that towards the back. Once I put the next row on, you won't see it. Okay, the reason I did that is I don't want there to be random strings. I want it to look all just like it's all balled up. If that makes any sense whatsoever, I hope it does. Okie dokes. Now, this one is a little bit, here we go. That's the prettiest side for that one. So I gotta tack this down. I'm gonna snip that off and tack this down. Now the difference is on this one, where I'm tacking the yarn down is not where I'm going to place it because that's not the prettiest part. So I want to make sure I get the prettiest part of the yarn, and that's where I'm going to glue it. So we're going to try that one more time. I'll turn it so you can see it. Whoop, back this way. Okay. Pretty part of the yarn ball right there. That looks like the picture perfect one. And I'm going to go ahead, measure twice, cut once, right? Measure twice, glue once. And like I said, once you place it, let it be. Because if you turn that right now, you're going to see that and it's not going to be pretty. So we'll just leave it. Once you touch the yarn to the glue, it wants to stay put where it is. So, all right, let's put a little pop of purple right there. What do you think? I'll add a little bit more to it though. This one seems small. So why don't I get a little bit bigger? Oh, there we go. Let's use this one. I'm just so lucky enough that I have many different balls of the yarn to go ahead and work with. So put this here. You can see I'm coming up to this. I think it'll be the next one. So before I glue, that's going to be the pretty part. So we're going to glue it right here. Okay, tuck that there, tuck that there. There we go. Now, that's going to be the part I want glued. So right here, right? That's the pretty part. Oh, I like that better. Okay. Now stop it. The glue wanted to stick to the cage. Okay, so again, I want the prettiest part. That's going to be right there. Like I said, make sure it's where you want it to be before you put that glue on there. Very unforgiving once you do. Okay. Now again, we're right near the vertical one. So I'm going to go ahead and put one little dot here. Not quite there yet, but I'm going to, once I flip it over, I will put another set of the glue on that part. And take a quick sip of water. Okay. Now, let's see here. How about a dark red? Yeah, that'll be pretty. So, right like that. Absolutely. A little snip. And then a little drip. A little snip, a little drip, and we're good to go. Okay. Put that there. Again, don't burn yourself and try to touch it as little as possible. Okay, so that's a pretty part right there. I'm going to make sure I glue that very well. Touch it to the other ball and walk away. Step away. Don't play with it too much. I really have to find some of the hot glue that I can use with that isn't so stringy. But in the meantime, I will work with what I have. I'm going to use this color here. Yeah, that's a pretty addition, right? I like that. Put that right. Unfortunately, the part I want. How about this? There we go. Okay. So now I have to be really, really careful because right where I want this to sit is where it's going to have to be glued. So how good can I get with that glue gun? We shall see. Okay, there's one little touch. Yeah, that's definitely the side I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this and then trim it right there. So we're going to put the dab between them, press them together. Let them make nice and be friends. And then I'm going to just snip this as close as I can. You never even knew it was there. Okay, perfect. How about a nice pop of color? What do you think? How about this yellow? This yellow scrub-a-dub. Scrubby stuff. Okay. My friend that rolls these for me says she doesn't like the scrubby. She says it's not her favorite to roll, so I said, well, I use them for my kitchen scrubbies. She says, well, I don't like them. So there we go. Little dab of glue, because a little dab will do. With this yarn, I just need to make sure it catches, and I don't want to touch it with my finger, but I'm gonna. There we go. Okay. Now, let's try to find a pretty part. Right here. That'll be good, right? No. No, it will not. All right, right there. Separate and then together. Perfect. Right like that. And again, if this is loose, I can always tighten it around back and put another dab of the glue on there. This one I love. It almost looks like an eyeball. All right, let's keep on going. Keep going around. So I don't have one of these on there yet, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on. How soft that is. That's the last baby blanket I made. So pretty. All right. Go ahead and tack that down. Find the prettiest part, and that's where I want it to set. Okay, I'm going to get this in there. Again, set it, lift your hands, and let it be. Now, once you get the second layer on here, it becomes a bit more forgiving, so that is actually really good. So don't stress yourself too much about, oh, I see this, or oh, that's too that. Don't even worry about it, because it really is a bit more forgiving than you're going to think it is. So making that one a little bit smaller still. Yep, nicely on there. And if you need to arrange it a little bit, go ahead. Make it look pretty. And that's how I want that one to look. So we're going to touch it a little bit with this glue. When I say a little bit of glue, I mean pretty much the amount of glue that's just dripping off. I don't know about you, but my glue guns drip. So the more of the glue that's dripping off is pretty much the perfect amount of glue that you use to attach the ends to each other. You do need a little bit more to attach the balls to each other, but as far as the ends, you're fine with just that little drip. All right, what do we got now? Let's see. How about this pop of color right here? I love it. It's a little one, but I think, yeah, it'll be perfect right there by the horizontal, what is that? Horizontal wire, horizontal frame. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. My glue is sticking all over the place here. Okay, a little drop right here. Get that held onto itself. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that right like that. Like I said, if it's not pretty enough, you can make it pretty enough, and there we go. That looks good. Right like that. And that little tail that you see sticking out there will be hidden when I put the next row on. If it's not, then we will just tack that down with another dab of glue. This project is very forgiving. The fact that you're making it really random colors and really random shapes actually helps with any blemishes or you know, out of shape or anything like that. So it's really a great craft. Like I said, for leftover yarn, it's the most amazing. And everybody that has seen this so far just loves it. Yarn people and crafty people alike. You know, even people that do crafts that don't include yarn. They love the idea of the wreath. So I actually toyed with the idea of putting a clock face in the middle of it. I still might. If I can actually go to Goodwill and try to find a clock, a used clock, and just set it in there. I bet you I could find a wooden one. Look how pretty that's going to be. I bet you I could find a wooden clock that would fit right in the middle of this and make it look really cool. But for now, we'll just work on the yarn. See how that's sticking out a little bit? We're going to trim that right off. Okay. How we go? Oh, you can't even see that. Sorry about that. I'm concentrating so hard on making this wreath, I can't see where the yarn. There we go. Now make sure it's all in line. And I don't have one of these on here yet, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one on. See if I have any more of that yarn anywhere. I don't. So you can also, different ways you can stand the yarn up makes the yarn ball look bigger. So there's also that as a little trick. So I'm going to go ahead and put it just like that. Yarn between it. Boom. There we go. And I don't have a white one on there yet. And you always have to add just some of the drab colors. Like one white and one gray, or one white and one solid red, something like that. Because with all of the colors, you like to add just one thing that's not so loud in there. So, okay, we're going to take this, stick that in there. I'm going to trim off this here. Okay, where are we now? Now we're getting to the point where I'm either going to try to find one bigger one to sit in there, or I'm going to try to fit two smaller ones. And let's just see if I can find one that'll fit right in there. No, that's too much like that. How about a nice pop of solid green? Oh, thank you very much. That will work quite nicely. So it was a little big, but I will go ahead, adjust it to the size I need, put it the way I need it to be, and boom. Oh, can you say perfect? I certainly can. So that is perfect. So here we go. Now we're gluing it on both sides. Okay. And then I'm also gluing it to the frame itself. There we go. We got to let this all sit up now. Now you see these leftover small ones. We can use them later on to fill in any gaps that might be between the bigger balls and the smaller balls. So I'll go ahead and going to line these up and get ready for the next round. All right, so I have all of the next size yarn balls lined up and ready to take their place on the frame. So I'll show you a couple of them so you get the idea of it, and then I will come back and I'll show you once they're all placed. So you're just going to go ahead and line them up just like you did the first one, but you want to make sure, because you're going to have some that are the same as the yarn you used on the row before. Just make sure that that is not going right next to that same. Okay. When you glue these on, you're going to glue them here to these two, and then you're going to glue it to the one next to it as well. And that's the only difference. Okay. So I will start with a couple, and then I will go ahead. I won't make you go through all of it with me. And I will come back and show you halfway around, and then I will show you the finished, and we'll work on the back together. Okay, so I'm just wrapping this back up where it belongs. And I'll put a little dab of glue right there. Ouch. Of course I touched the glue. Why wouldn't I touch the glue? Of course I did. Okay. So we're going to put that one right here. We're going to make sure the prettiest part is showing. That's a pretty part. Okay. So I want to go ahead and snip this off. Now, since that's going to be facing the bottom, I can go ahead and just put a dab of glue right there on it. Sorry, sometimes I'm watching what I'm doing and not what I'm recording. I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to set this here, get it so that at the prettiest spot, and then just tip it back a little bit, put a dab of glue on that ball, a dab of glue on that ball, and push it in. Again, you're not going to move it. You're not going to adjust it in any way. Just hold it till you're sure the glue has stuck, and then let it be. Okay, move to the next one. So the next one, I think I'm going to go ahead. That's white, but it's more of a cream. So I'm going to go ahead. You know what? I'll put it on this side. Yeah, I want to use this ball, but I don't want to use it too close to the other light color. And that's pretty much what it is. It's just your opinion on where you want the colors to land. So make sure this is all nice and wound up. Okay, put my little dab right there. And the pretty part right there. Isn't that lovely? I just love it so much. So I'm trying to come around so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, good. So we lean it out, put a little dab there, lean it back, dab, dab, push, and let it go. And there we have it. And again, I'm going to trim this off right there. That's what you're doing now. So we're going to go ahead. Where is this one's right here? So I'm going to turn this. I'm going to put one right here for you. So the only difference with this row is you're just really trying to make sure you're not putting like colors too close together. Okay, you can see over here on this side, these are the same. So I can put this on the outer row, but I want to make sure I put it as far away as possible. Okay, so maybe I'll put that one on next. But you also have to make sure it's not too close to another similar color right there. So it's all a game of mixing and matching your colors, and pretty much just how you like to see it. That's all. There's no rules. There's no you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. I kind of like that one there better, further away from that purple. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this peach right here. Am I going to put that peach right there? Maybe I'm going to put this blue right here. And that's what I do. I go ahead and see, now this might bother you that it's the same type of yarn, so you could swap it out as well. Again, it's all your taste, all your opinion. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all this on, and I will get back to you when I have it halfway, and then we'll do it when I... All right, with this one, I am halfway around. So I have approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 more balls to go around, maybe 10. And then I will show you at the end where we're at. All right, so I have it all done, and the way I have the angle of the camera, you can't really see it all as one piece yet, but I don't want to take it down until I show you. You can take, if you have little gaps like this, you can take smaller balls of yarn and just stick them right in there to hide any gap. If you want to do a full row in all the gaps, you can. Just remember, keep in mind, you don't want to do too many colors. Like you don't want this one next to its same, which I don't have, but you don't want to use a smaller version of this one here or anything like that. So you want to try to keep them separated as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and use a bunch of the smaller yarn balls that I have, and I'm going to do a row here to fill in the gaps. And then when I come back, I'll hold it up and you'll be able to see the whole thing, how it looks before we put the back on. Okay, so once you're done, here's how your wreath will look. How pretty is that? So lots of different colors and shapes and textures. And then all I do is I have a bunch of wooden crochet hooks that I don't use. I got them at like a thrift store. And I just go ahead and for decoration, I go ahead and I glue that right on here. So you can put it on as a decoration, or you can leave it off, or you could put 2 on the bottom to cross them. However you want to do it, it's totally up to you. It's your wreath. But there you go. That is the wreath. And here is my smaller version of it. Now, you're going to see for the back of it, if you want to, you can take some twine and cover up most of the frame. If not, leave it as is. I have sold and given away several of these without the back covered, and people love them just how they are. So there you go. Beautiful wreath. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you can save up your yarn. Go ahead and make your own version of the wreath yarn. So there you go. All right. Remember, always be happy, be kind, and be creative. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.